I'm going to start this video off with the most important caveat of all time. I don't have a political party, and honestly, you probably shouldn't either. The political world is often sensationalized into this binary, left or right or blue or red, and the assumption is that if you voted for one party, you believe pretty much everything on their platform, and obviously you probably don't. These ideological programs, as I want to call them, are the tribes of government. If you're a red, you're a blank, and if you're a blue, you're this blank instead. I'm not going to be the first or last to say these are ideas. More eloquently, these programs reduce complex moral questions into slogans designed for mass loyalty. They play with your feelings, not strengthen your mind. Petty political positioning has resulted in otherwise ordinary people falling for emotional traps rather than testing themselves. Also, they both give money to Israel. That's a joke, because even a third party would give money to Israel. Let's talk about one particular policy. I am fundamentally pro-choice with a pro-life attitude, i.e. I believe in the right to abortion, but would also prefer that we use collective society for human sex for what it is, which is possible baby making. Does this stance on abortion mean I want Democrats or liberals to tell my children about gender ideology? No, not really. But if abortion is the topic that I care so deeply about, then obviously that's going to affect the way that I interpret the political world. This is where things change, and this is where I'm going to introduce a concept to you called the hierarchy of political issues. These are pretty much how decent people are manipulated into voting for things that they don't want to because the same party is offering something that they really, really want. This is what I call conditional voting. I have many issues that I care deeply about, but almost all of them are conditional. For example, and this is probably the most obvious and pressing one, I believe in taxation.
You what?
And even though while I say that I hear the 25-year-old libertarian in me cringing, taxation is essentially a social contract amongst all civilians that, if broken, is actually a crime. In an ideal world, our taxes are financial contributions to a system that helps. It pays for roads and healthcare and police services and the like, things that actually affect how a country runs. But in reality, that's not always what our taxes go toward. Yes, it does pay for some of those things, but oftentimes these things go to pay for ideological pet projects. I would even make the argument that most people are happy to pay taxes if, and there's a big if, the taxes go to things that are generally believed to be right. Because I at this point, and I'm sure I'm not alone in feeling this way, the vast majority of my taxes feel like theft. I pay 13% income tax, and then I have sales tax on top of it. And to fund what? Alright, so taxation is theft, but also kind of isn't, and people have conditional voting and a hierarchy of political issues. That's great and all, but what the f*** does any of this have to do with political parties? Alright, when I'm saying I don't have a political party, what I'm really doing is I'm asking you to see through the bullshit. Because let's be real, 90% of the issues talked about in mainstream politics is kind of bullshit. It's like it's an emotional Trojan horse used by the political parties to get something else that they want. Alright, here's a great example for you, okay? Gender ideology, to me, is actually really simple. It comes down to, two things. One, don't be a dick. Use pronouns for kind people. Don't just blatantly disrespect it. And if you're someone who uses non-heteronormative pronouns, don't be a dick about it. People will probably use them, unless it's, gendered language. That's different. Just treat people with kindness if they act kind. Golden rule. That's simple. Second thing, make sure kids learn STEM. I don't think ideology belongs in school unless we're critically deconstructing it. Institutionalizing ideology is a surefire way to make ideologues. Canada has a massive brain drain issue. We need more people in STEM, and we, the people, should be pushing our institutions to prioritize economy-generating education systems and leaving as much ideology out of it as possible. In the words of Deng Xiaoping, it doesn't matter if the cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice. That's some ball knowledge for you. But sexuality should not be a tool used by political parties to influence people's conditional voting off of their hierarchy of political issues. That's what they do. That's the gun control argument. That's the abortion argument. That's all these arguments. It's actually, most of the time, these things are quite simple. And the problem with the political parties is they amp up rhetoric like crazy to make things happen, and then they just slip some bullshit on their platform that you didn't even get to talk about because we were so busy talking about, guns and abortions and all these other things. Like, bro, where was the discussion about AI and Palantir and Obama dropping bombs on Libya? We were talking about Puerto Ricans and Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. Now, I'm going to use a personal example why this kind of matters for me. I was a dumb kid. I was a really dumb kid. And I was 18 when I had the opportunity to vote Justin or Harper. And Justin offered me weed. That's it. That is all it took. I voted, and Justin the boy became Justin the Prime Minister. And he almost kneecapped this nation to no recovery on a platform of ideology and pandering. I fell for it. And I'm asking you not to. Let's say this in as much of an academic way as possible to get the point across. The established political parties in Western democracies use platforms built on polarizing conditional voting issues and abuse people's hierarchy of political values to further their party's interest. What is that interest, you may ask? Well, I'm not allowed to tell you that because honestly, I'm running out of time. But I think you can figure it out. A wise man once told me, follow the money. Alright, champs, you know the deal. Socials in the description, like and sub if you want more. And honestly, from me to you, just be the best you can be. Alright? We got a lot of shit to fix in this world. Find political issues worth uniting over. I think the Epstein Files is a good cause. I think justice is a good cause. I think developing the nation to be stronger is a good cause. I think having good communities are good causes. And I think you can do it. As you listening to this video. I think if you really tried, you could save the world. But that's just me, champs. Alright, peace! Alright, that was kind of a rant, but we're making first time videos as feelers. Fuck it, boys, we roll, we ball. I'm throwing it out there. How long was that? 14 minutes. Cool. That's gonna be fun editing.